Continuing on with number 9, they give us n cubed subtract n. So we have n cubed subtract n equals 9, n squared subtract 9. So the first thing I want to do is go ahead and move this all onto one side of an equation and put them in order in the standard form. So we're going to subtract 9n squared and add this 9. So I'd have n cubed, and then I'm going to do subtract 9n squared. Then I'll have subtract n plus 9 equals 0. Now I'm looking at it thinking, well, maybe I shouldn't have done that, but we're going to keep going. So out of this first one, because I'm going to go ahead and factor by grouping, I'm going to factor out an n squared. So I'd have n subtract 9. Then over here I have n squared plus 9, but I want it to look like this one, so I'm going to factor out a negative 1. So then negative divided by a negative would make that a positive n, and then 9 divided by negative 1 would make that a negative 9. Then I'm going to clump these two together, so I'd have n squared subtract 1 times n subtract 9 equals 0. This is the difference of two squares, so I have n subtract 1, make sure y'all can see them, n plus 1, and n subtract 9 equals 0. Then we have it factored all the way down, so we're going to split these each into different ones and make them all equal to 0. So I have n subtract 1 equals 0. So n equals 1. N plus 1 equals 0. So n equals negative 1. N subtract 9 equals 0. When I add that 9, n equals 9. So 1, negative 1, and 9. How about negative 9? 1, negative 1, and positive 9. Continuing, so we have 6x times x subtract 5 equals 0. This one's already worked out. If I multiply that in, I'm just going to have to factor it back out. So we have 6x times x subtract 5 equals 0. Since I don't have an x squared or anything, I'm just going to go ahead and have 6x equals 0 and x subtract 5 equals 0. Because if I multiplied that, that'd make it way harder on me, and I don't want to deal with the squares when I'm solving for x. So here, if I divided 0 by 6, x still equals 0. When I add my 5 here, x equals 5. So my answer would be 0 and 5 on this one. Solve the following equation. We have x squared subtract 8x subtract 20. So I need factors of 20 that subtract to get 8. 10 and 2. So number 11, x squared subtract 8, x subtract 20 equals 0. My factors of 20, 21, 10 and 2, 5 and 4. 10 subtract 2 equals 8. But I need it to be a negative 8, so I'm going to have a negative 10 plus 2. So x subtract 10 times x plus 2. And then I'd have x subtract 10 equals 0. When I add that 10, I get x equals 10, then x plus 2 equals 0. So when I subtract this 2, I get x equals negative 2. So 10 and negative 2 are my answers. We have x squared subtract 2x equals 24. So the first thing I'm going to do in this is move my 24 to the other side of that equal sign to get it equal to 0. So I'm going to subtract my 24 to get x squared, subtract 2x, subtract 24 equals 0. Now factors of 24 that are going to subtract to give me 2, 6 and 4 is going to be it on this one. So 6 and 4 are my factors. I want a -2, so I'm going to have a -6 and a +4. So I have x subtract 6 times x plus 4 equals 0. Break them up. X subtract 6 equals 0. X plus 4 equals 0. Add my 6. X equals 6. Subtract my 4. X equals -4. Ooh, it's one of those perfect squares from problem section 5.7. One right before this one. 49x squared. Subtract 56x plus 16 equals 0. So on this one, there's a square root of 49 and 16. The square root of 49 is 7. Square root of 16 is 4. 7 times 4 is 28. 28 doubled is 56. So using that special product rule stuff that was in 5.7, I know that this one is only going to have one answer because when I factor it out, it's 7x subtract 4 on both of them. So I don't have to solve both of these. I just have to solve it once. So I'd add my 4. And I have 7x equals 4. And then I divide by my 7. Get x equals 4 sevenths. That's really ugly. This one's already factored out as well, so I'm just going to go ahead and work it out down here. Since it's already factored out into these separate ones, there's no exponents that we're having to deal with, so I have z equals 0 as my first one. 2z subtract 3 equals 0 is my next one. Let's solve it. So 2z equals 3. Divide by our 2. Z equals 3 halves. And our last one, we have z plus 5 equals 0. We would subtract our 5. So z equals -5. Kind of got a hand cramp doing that, so I know I did that really fast. Please email me if you have any questions over any of this. And that's all I have for this video. I'm going to start 8.2 in a second though. So.